Hello, dear listeners. You turned into podcast Innovate Spain, the IT Chronicles. My name is Evgeny Goncharov, and I invite you to immerse yourself in the world of IT Spain. In each episode, we will discuss the latest industry trends that stimulate innovation, shape the market, and create new opportunities, aided by our guests. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, leave your review, and don't miss the next episode. Today, we have our first episode, our pilot, and I would like to welcome our first guest, Camila.
Thank you.
Hey, Camila, how are you?
Hi, Evgeny. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Yeah, I feel excited.
Likewise.
Let's start with getting to know each other a little bit. My name is Zhenya. I was born in Moscow, graduated in quantum statistics from the Faculty of Physics. My career path started in consulting with top international firms, but after 5 years there, I moved to IT field. Worked for big tech companies, starting as a project manager, and eventually became an IT and product director in fintech. Cross-functionally managing more than 20 professionals with focus on product development, IT infrastructure, cybersec, and AI automation. I have already lived on 3 continents and currently live in Madrid. Camila, tell us a little about yourself, your experience in profession. I suppose that we can discuss this for hours, but we can make it brief.
Thank you, Evgeny. No, not for hours, but maybe a little more time.
If we add challenges, I suppose,
Yes.
4 hours.
Challenges, yeah. Thanks, Evgeny. So, yes, my name is Camila. I'm a recruiter. I've been in the recruitment sector for about 10 years almost. I'm originally from California. I was born in California to a U.S. mom and a Chilean dad. So I'm also part Latina and speak Spanish, which is pretty cool language. I've also lived in a variety of different countries, actually, Jenny. So I lived in the U.S., obviously. Then I moved to Chile. I was in Argentina for a year, lived in Netherlands up until 2 years ago. And now this year I'm in London, the UK. So
Wow.
we're both pretty diverse in that sense. So
diverse environment here.
And multicultural, yes. Yeah, it's quite an experience in itself. I'm specialized in IT recruitment. I wouldn't say that I have like a specific niche, but I worked in different areas of IT, and right now I'm focusing in the Spanish and North American markets in my current job. So, what else can I tell you?
I suppose that's pretty good, and we are good here. I suppose we will cover some parts of your experience in our following questions. So we can start with a general overview of IT sector in Spain, which IT areas are already leading and competitive, and where there's still plenty of room for development. What is trends in IT would you like to highlight?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good question. So overview, I would say that the Spanish IT sector is growing pretty much steadily, Jenny, particularly in, the tech hubs, like I'm thinking Barcelona, Malaga, Valencia, and even Madrid to a lot of extent. The market is quite diverse, I would say, just ranging from, large enterprises to maybe more innovative startups. And remote work is also pretty large part of the market right now. So there's a lot of opportunities that are being presented due to the more flexible environments of some of these companies. Yeah, in terms of maybe current IT trends, I'd say that no surprise, cloud computing and also digital transformation has been around in Spain for quite some time. Cloud adoption in like I said, digital transformation initiatives, they continue to be just major drivers for Spain, not just for Spain, right, but for many of these countries in Europe and the US as well. So many companies, particularly in Spain, are sort of transitioning to more of a hybrid or multi-cloud models, right? So this emphasizes the need for cloud engineers and DevOps professionals as well, architects and all that. So yeah,
What about sectors? I would say, what sectors driving this transformation?
Sectors in what way?
Industries, banking, e-com, etc.
I'd say a little bit of everything. What I've seen a lot in Spain in particular is, as you said, the banking industry, but also insurance industries and startups. You have a lot, also fintechs and all that kind of companies are definitely playing a major role in Spain.
Amazing.
Another trend that is no secret also, but is quite cool in my opinion, is AI and data analytics. So of course, including machine learning, AI and data analysis, they're quite major right now as well, as everybody knows, right? They're becoming core to different business strategies across industries. So obviously the ones that we've mentioned, but also other areas as well. Spain is seeing a lot of growth in AI, especially for automation, for predictive analysis, and just customer experience sort of enhancements. So that's quite trending right now, as well as cybersecurity. So we all know, right, across the map, just digital threats are becoming quite a lot more common than they were before.
Yes.
Increasing. Yeah. So a lot of the priority does stay in companies increasing their sustainable tech practices when it comes to cybersecurity and just including all the regulations in Europe, right?
There is an anecdotal evidence, let's say, about cybersecurity threats. Me and my wife received also a message from DGT. It's an agency for all, let's say, auto-related topics like driver license and all that kind of stuff, fines. And I received SMS like, please, you have a fine, 1 month ago. Pay until your discount is expired, because in Spain there's a grace period for payment of fines. First 20 days, you can pay just half of the fine. Yeah, and they send this SMS for a lot of people. What I can say that DGT never sends SMS.
Yeah.
It doesn't have this option. So it was a scam. But I suppose that this is generally the European and also worldwide trend. And recently was compromised a law firm in Cyprus that was owned by former president. And it was really cracked, and a lot of personal data also was exposed.
At least.
So that's generally overall trend, but also in particular in Spain and Europe as well.
Absolutely. No, and listen, I mean, if regular people are going through these things, right, imagine for larger companies, right? The interesting thing is that even though a lot of people have specialized in this sector, in cybersecurity and whatnot, there's still a massive talent gap in cybersecurity. So cybersecurity experts are highly sought after, not just in Spain, right, but in the whole of Europe, obviously in the US as well.
You touched on Paquito, American market.
Yeah.
So you have extensive experience in the European and American markets, and I suppose it will be really interesting to cover a bit. How does the IT market in Spain differ from European and American markets as well?
Yeah.
And you can elaborate a bit on the differences and your thoughts about it.
Yeah, sure. Listen, as long as I don't get any angry messages after on LinkedIn, it's all good.
No. I suppose no angry messages. I haven't said your surname, so if there will be bad feedback, we can just say it was AI deepfake.
Yeah. No, it's a really good point, though. I do have to say. So I would say that most of all, what comes to mind is really innovation speed, but also flexibility, right? So the US tech market in particular does tend to be a little bit more agile and just faster, adopting new technologies in general, right? So they do have also a stronger culture of risk taking, if that makes sense. So, I mean, Europe, in contrast, especially Spain, I would say, is a lot more regulated in a lot of ways, right? So that can slow down innovation in a lot of ways. But also, at the same time, it does create a lot more opportunities in compliance and in data protection and whatnot in comparison to the US. That's the first thing that comes to mind. The second one would be talent availability and also specialization. The US has a larger pool of specialized tech talent. However, Spain and Europe are just slowly catching up, particularly in fields like AI, as I was saying, cybersecurity, software development, especially for remote work. That's helping the Spanish IT professionals just compete internationally. So that's another one. What else? Maybe startups, in terms of like startup ecosystems, I think they're a little bit different. So Silicon Valley remains dominant, I think, across the space, right? Spain startup ecosystem is growing a lot, though. I do have to say that. So in terms of, how do I say this? So they're coming up with a lot more stuff in the fintech industries for health tech startups as well, and also green tech, which is quite a very interesting field in itself. And also there's a lot of government support in Spain in particular that is just helping some of these regulations and are just helping local startups thrive in these spaces. So those are the three top things that I can think of when it comes to the differences.
If you can bring some light also on the picture of, it could be sensitive, so we will see, you can not answer. So in terms of the profiles, let's say from American and European, I don't know what the candidates seeking for, let's say on the American market and on the European one. What candidates seeking for? Like, what's the difference between desires, let's say, for the job, like what they value, and also from an employer side? But of course, we cannot dive into confidential topics, but just generally how people different in work, because I have also some feeling here, but it's interesting from your side, like just what have you seen?
Yeah, perfect. So I'll tell you one thing. The major difference, no secret, is the pay, basically. In the US market, people are looking for a lot more in terms of salary, whether that's, on a contract role, it would be like rates, right? So higher rates for sure. And also, I've seen that in the US market, people, especially in the tech field, they're more interested in also growth opportunities, but not in the traditional sense, right? So more in the educational sense, like what certifications can companies offer? Well, how can I move around inside, for example, a company? Like if I want to move from one field and into a different area, like how does the company support that, right? I'd say that's the main difference in terms of what people are looking for. Also remote work, for sure. I think the US, even though it's changing every year, I do feel like in the US, tech companies specifically, they've got it more figured out when it comes to remote work and flexibility in general. Whereas in Europe, we're slowly catching up, right? So it's a demand that's more and more frequent in techies and in tech. And not so much maybe in other areas. Whether in the US, there's a bit more flexibility in that sense. So that's, that's it.
It makes sense. It makes sense because also I worked a bit with the American market, like with some startups that I was advising. And what I noticed also, by the way, my father and sister lives in Minnesota. So yeah, I have some touch. Let me just elaborate on this. Like, I feel like in American market, people most strive for career development, like for making success, how we put it. And in Europe, it's more about, even if the pay less, our pay is not so big difference, let's say. Like if in comparison of our pay, like people tend to work less, while in America, people don't.
That's
work less. They work really very, 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 very hard.
Yes. That's a really good point. It's true. Yeah, even though that people, the tech space professionals in the US do have more remote work, there is a higher workload. That's not
Yes.
to be found necessarily in Spain in particular. The culture is just massively different for sure.
Yeah. I suppose that, I don't know, we have discussed this topic, I suppose. We just made some interesting points, but maybe we can talk a bit about growth of IT market and what government measures maybe can help this. I feel like you covered something, but maybe some specific things that you would like to mention, or we can move to another topic as well.
And you mean in Spain, right?
In Spain, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a really good point. So there's a lot really to cover there. I would say that in terms of like government initiatives and regulations, in particularly dedicated to like the tech area, there is this plan that the Spanish government launched called Digital Spain 2026, I think it's called. It just aims to like boast digital skills in tech professionals and non-tech professionals as well. So innovation as well, infrastructure specifically, I think is one of the biggest areas of focus. So that's a quite interesting initiative. Also, there's this the startup law. That's what it's called. It provides tax benefits and like reduces bureaucracy basically for tech startups in Spain, and just it makes it an attractive destination for a lot of them in IT. So,
I will just mention from my side, given that I'm like a newcomer here, that Spain has the best, I suppose, immigration initiatives.
Right.
Like Startup Visa, a digital nomad program that was launched 2 years ago and is really, I'm a participant, I can't say this.
Yeah.
It was so fast. Like I spent 3 months. It's not as easy as you can imagine, because I have a Russian passport, but still, if you are talent, I suppose only compare with this, because they have a UK Global Talent Visa, and I have like 2 types of friends. Digital nomads and UK Global Talent. Like, just 2 types. And some of my friends, I will receive hate comments about this, I suppose, but I will say this. I still want to say this. And some friends that are still waiting for residence permit in Portugal. So, for several years of waiting time. But now it's better, I know, but at the beginning it was the mess. And also the other thing I also noticed, I'm not very, let's say, like, expert in this field, but I saw a lot of accelerators that supported by the main companies like Telefonica and Mercadona and all other holdings, big holdings in Spanish market, and they aim to help boost your idea to some product and all that kind of stuff. It's of course far behind, I suppose, Silicon Valley, but it's a very good steps towards innovation.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot going on. 3 months is not bad at all, Jenny. I think that's actually quite fast.
It was very, very, very fast. I mean, like 3 months, it's the fastest track that I saw, because application to receiving plastic. So it's crazy. I expected this from Spain, because there is the belief that in Spain it's a bit slowed down. Like you have siesta and all that kind of stuff, but it was really, really, really fast. We will receive definitely hate comments here. So let's move forward. I was that challenge accepted. I know that in your work, pay great attention to women in IT industry. And it's, for me, it's really a sensitive topic, despite the fact that I am a man. I suppose that I believe that we all pay for differences, and the differences of rights between men and women in terms of pay, benefits, and all that kind of stuff. But I would like to ask you just about your impression and some prospects of development in this area.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jenny. Yeah, this is a particularly important topic for me. So I'm also by night, you could say. So during the day, I'm a recruiter. During the night, I'm a women career coach. So I really enjoy this particular topic a lot. In terms of what you said, as in current landscape in Spain in particular, more than women in tech, right? There's also DEI initiatives going on behind the scenes. So these initiatives are gaining a lot of traction in Spain, slowly but steadily. There is still obviously significant room for improvement, as there always is, particularly in the tech sector, as we all know, because there's a gap there in terms of gender, which remains a challenge, right? There is a lot fewer women in technology roles compared to other European countries in terms of tech space. And that's quite a challenge, but it is slowly being approached, right? Not just by the Spain government or European governments in general, but also by different companies. A lot of enterprises are putting a massive focus on this. So it's quite inspiring. Companies are also increasingly recognizing, the importance of diverse teams, mostly for innovation and business success, larger firms are just global companies in general in Spain are implementing more sort of robust DEI programs, just focusing on gender equality, multicultural inclusion, and just accessibility in general, right? So the whole DEI spectrum. In terms of government and industry support, which is obviously a key player here. I know that the Spanish government is promoting diversity through legislations and different incentives. And also industry bodies are launching initiatives to just promote inclusivity in technologies, is the word I'm looking for. There's lots of programs that are aimed at increasing the participation of underrepresented groups in STEM. So that's also quite, it's going to be a major thing in the coming years. In terms of maybe trends in this space, in the DEI space, I'd say that remote work and just hybrid models in general, they're helping to level the playing field, right, in this area. They're offering more opportunities for people from diverse backgrounds, whether that's women or it's just in general diverse people. Additionally, companies are focusing more on building inclusive cultures. So just, trying to remove unconscious bias, which is a major part of this, and just training and mentorship programs for underrepresented groups is what I've seen a lot in the market right now.
That sounds impressive, and also from my side, maybe I'm not very good at this field. Still just exploring all trends and newcomer, as I said, Spanish market. While I heard that there is legal initiative, like a law for vacation during periods for women.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, that this is the first country, I suppose, that made this.
I think there's been a few more that are proposing the initiative, but yeah, for sure, it's coming along, but it's not necessarily approved just yet, right? So.
Okay.
Lots of little initiatives all throughout. So.
A lot of initiatives, yeah. Perfect. We're going to final, let's say. And what I would like to ask about is what competencies HR specialists, including yourself, particularly focus on when selecting employees, and who will have the most advantage, in your opinion? Just like what do you think?
Perfect. So if I'm assuming your question is more weird towards 2025 and future.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd say definitely, as we've already mentioned, just different technical skills and just what they call digital literacy. So as we've talked about it, expertise in AI is going to be everything. I think especially in 2025. Also mentioned cloud computing I think it's a major part, in data analytics, cybersecurity also. All these would be pretty critical, I'd say, in terms of the upcoming market. And this is all my impression, right? Based on what
Yes, of course.
Nothing so nobody gets too excited there. It's definitely areas that I'm seeing are increasing in demand. There's also growing demand for professionals skilled in what's called low code or no code platforms.
Yeah. Like automations.
Yes, it's also an interesting field.
I'm this professional also. Yeah. I'm learning. Yeah. And I also implementing this into our company's, regular task and, routine. And it's really incredible in terms of, like how you can automate
Right.
and eliminate email back and forward, for example, for this not strange, but very routine thing like payments, for example.
Right.
Like you send your invoice or something, or a lot of companies send invoices to the email. Then it automatically, with the OCR, it's optical recognition service, it understands what you need from this invoice, put this in Jira and in table in Google Sheets. You can see invoice, you can see in Jira the ticket with the relevant fields, and no emailing, no like approve, please respond, etc. You have a SLA, and then you pay this, for example, and the company pays and attaches all relevant documentation, business approval, and all that kind of stuff, and you have this everything. Without the human being. This process is completely automated.
Yeah. That's definitely part of it. It's one example, right? But
yes, it is. One example. Yeah. For example, everything that you need to do repeatedly can be moved to AI automation, like low-code solutions like Zapier. We don't have any ads here, but just it's like well-known in the industry. Zapier, UiPath, and also some low-code solutions as well. So there are plenty of them.
For sure.
And maybe they miss something. Camila, what do you think?
I'm just thinking maybe obviously what we talked about is more for like technical skills, but I think it's also important to mention, well, they call it soft skills, but I think it's more people skills in a way, because there's nothing soft about them, in my opinion.
It's hard skills, actually.
So communication, I'm thinking, teamwork, leadership is also a very important part. I think that slowly but surely the concept of a boss is coming to an end. There's more instead of vertical leadership, there's more horizontal leadership now. So that's another thing. And obviously empathy is a big part of that in terms of people skills. And obviously companies are highly valuing these, right? Just to operate in remote and hybrid environments. I think that they're becoming quite critical. Just collaborations, I guess, in diverse teams, multicultural teams is also a big part of it in terms of these skills. Along with that, obviously, a global mindset and just cultural intelligence. Companies are expanding internationally. That's the reality, right? And the work with diverse teams, cross-cultural teams, requires a special type of understanding. Also, multilingual skills. Speaking of that, right? English is massive, but also Spanish is becoming more and more frequent in the workspace. And obviously they're becoming more important in Spain in particular. but yeah, that, and what else? I would say agility and adaptability, Jenny, in the sense that workers, especially in the tech space, they have to be able to quickly sort of adapt to new technologies, right? So new methods, just along with experience in agile frameworks, which is obviously part of that. But yeah, just that would, I think, set candidates apart massively.
Maybe, thank you, Camila. It's very good contribution to this topic. I would say also from my point of view, I don't know how to put it, but in consulting field, we paid a lot of attention to this skill. It's also soft, hard skill, let's say. Mm-hmm. It's structural thinking, structure of what you're saying, like all that kind of stuff. And a specific book that really brings some light to this picture also, it's Minto Pyramid Principle. Mm-hmm. So it's just women from McKinsey that write a really incredible book about how to structure any idea, your letters, anything. And I suppose that this is always the spotlight for consulting firms, but I suppose that it's generally also important, like what I feel inside industry, say.
100%. No, yeah, system thinking, structured thinking, all of that is quite important, especially in consulting, as you said. That's a really good point. I'll definitely write that down that book and see if I can write it.
I will share with you.
Yeah.
Camila, so pleasure to have you today. It's amazing. It's really, it was so real. I like that. Thank you so much for early wake up and spending this time with us.
It's not that early.
10 o'clock in London, right?
10 o'clock in London, that's correct. But that's,
Yeah.
I was awake along. I think leave it there.
Okay. Dear listeners, thank you for being with us today. Don't forget to subscribe for our podcast and stay tuned for new episodes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny. Nice speaking to you.
Nice speaking to you.